to turn down to South Carolina and Skyler Henry, who is in Greenville. Good to see you, sir. There are several big races in the Palmetto State tonight. Let's start with the governor's race, another one that tests how much weight an endorsement from President Trump carries. What can you tell us about the gubernatorial primary?
Yeah, it's a fascinating race, Ed, for several reasons. For one, given the amount of folks that are considered viable candidates in this race. We know some of the names that are, more known out there. Congresswoman Nancy Mace, the lieutenant governor here, Pamela Evette, who has the Trump endorsement, as well as Congressman Ralph Norman, to name a few. The other part of this race that is so interesting is that there is no clear frontrunner, even with a Trump endorsement. We heard from the president just yesterday, who took part of a tele-rally with Evette alongside Senator Lindsey Graham, who is also running for re-election in this state. The president calling Evette both a fighter and a friend. We will see how much juice the president has going forward and how that impacts voters throughout the day today, and we'll see what happens when polls close tonight. But I think given the fact that it is such a tight contest at this point, it makes it likely that we will see a June 23rd runoff. I think this is a bit of a litmus test, if you will, too, not only about the Trump endorsement, so to speak, but where the GOP really wants to be right now. We know that some of the candidates that are out there have all at one point or another aligned themselves with not only the president, but his vision. But in recent weeks and months, especially when you look at a Congresswoman Nancy Mace, for example, who's walked out of lockstep with the Trump administration, especially putting pressure on the administration to release the Epstein files, for example, or to look at foreign policy, for example, the situation happening in Iran. I think those sorts of things will be interesting to pay attention to in terms of what voters value and what that says moving forward as we look ahead to the end of the night.
So a five-way gubernatorial primary likely to go to runoff, as you said, later this month. Real quick, on the Senate side, Lindsey Graham running unopposed, but who's the Democrat likely to face him?
Well, we will see. There's a group of folks that are out there. There's a guy that, a state senator out there that is interesting that we could potentially see give him a bit of a challenge. The other folks that are out there, there's Mark Lynch, the businessman who's here in Greenville, who some see as a different option than Lindsey Graham, someone who isn't necessarily for the foreign wars and the like. So we'll see what happens with that. But Graham, again, going into his fourth term, should he be reelected, is widely viewed as the front runner in that race.
All righty. Skyler Henry in beautiful Greenville, South Carolina. Good to have you with us here on this primary.